Que pasa, cabrón? Everybody is unhappy with the modern dating scene. Guys like us hear all these red pillars talking about, oh, all girls are hoes, you just need money, blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, girls are just consuming content that's saying like, oh, all men are shit. You go queen kind of content that's just destroying relationships. So it's really no wonder why the divorce rate is so high. We've kind of lost sight of what it actually means to cultivate a healthy relationship. And the way that we're going to do this is by focusing on what women actually want instead of all this modern dating advice that it's destroying relationships. I remember a couple years back when I really started to hit a stride in my self-improvement. You know, at the time I was going to the gym, I was bulking up, and you know, I wasn't lean, but I looked pretty good in clothes. I got a better haircut. I kind of looked like a trendy kind of kid. I got some better clothes and stuff, and you know, I was doing interesting activities. I think this was right before I started MMA and stuff, but I was also like, I had a band at the time, and we were starting to really make some progression with that as well. So I started to get a lot of attraction from, you know, women. But it was kind of weird. I started getting the attraction that I always wanted, but I was still pretty unhappy. And it took me kind of a while to figure out why, but it's because hookup culture and stuff like that is rampant nowadays. Like, this is the most lustful generation that we've ever had. And I was just going on dates, but they weren't going anywhere. I didn't really like the kind of girls that I was attracting, and I just really didn't build a connection with anybody. And this is the problem with hookup culture. No matter how many people you meet and stuff, you're not really building a connection, and you really feel like unsatisfied. It literally hurts your soul, and it traumatizes both men and women unconsciously. So that's when I started digging down the rabbit hole, trying to figure out like what I could do in order to actually find like a woman I wanted to be with in a long-term relationship. And I started looking down different things like compatibility. And I started figuring out what actually made couples last, what actually made couples figure out if they were a right match for each other. And I started to look for the signs in myself and my dating life. And that's when I started to realize what actually caused couples to break up and start to become depolarized. So I started implementing some of these things myself because I saw a lot of the traits that cause depolarization within relationships, and I started to work on myself and change it. Because a lot of people say, like in self-improvement, you'll hear a lot of the red pill guys say like, oh, focus on yourself, get your money out, blah, blah, blah. But part of your self-improvement is getting better with women and eventually finding your wife. So lo and behold, after implementing some of the advice and some of the research that I found, I actually was able to get into a very loving, healthy, stable relationship with a very beautiful woman. And she is my girlfriend. She even did like this little drawing for me and stuff. You know, she's really great. That's why I got una sorpresa para mi novia coming very soon for this month. That's why it's one of my goals, is because I'm working to create better relationships as part of your self-improvement. And one of the biggest reasons couples get depolarized is because they start acting like friends rather than lovers. Maybe you've been on your self-improvement journey for a little bit now. You start getting a little bit of abs, start having a little bit of muscle on your frame. You're starting to look good. You even look good, better in clothes, and you're wearing better clothes. You got some nice cologne on and stuff. And then you see this girl out in public. You guys keep making a little flirtatious eye contact, and you start really creating that initial attraction. And you're not even just looks, you also have a little bit of game with you too. So when you go up and speak to her, you're confident, you're showing that you are a high value man, or at least on the path to becoming one. And you guys really hit it off. You start really creating this chemistry, you start really liking each other, and you eventually fall in love and get into a relationship. But later down the line, you guys start like seeing each other too often. You guys live with each other now, so you're seeing each other every single day. There's no mystery anymore. You guys stop having sex, stop doing a lot of the things to show love that you used to, and you guys just become more like buddies rather than the crazy chemistry and polarity that you had when you first started. But this doesn't have to be you. Most people end up stopping at like the initial attraction. Like once they start liking each other and get into a relationship, they don't keep trying to improve how they can love the other person. They don't improve how much love they can give to the other person. So they start to become depolarized. They stop doing a lot of the habits that made them attractive in the first place. Like instead of going to the gym, now you're spending more days with her. So instead of like 4 days a week, now you're only going 2 days a week. Diet, it's really not getting better because you started getting more complacent with it and started eating out more and going to restaurants more instead of doing like other things. I don't know why restaurants are just like the go-to date. I mean, yeah, it's nice sometimes, but there are other things that you can do so you don't have to like cheat on your diet all the time. But anyways, the main problem is that you stop doing the things that created that initial attraction in the first place, and then you become too familiar with each other. You don't do any of the things that like were romantic. You're not romantic anymore. You need to remember that when you get into this relationship, that you guys are lovers and not friends. And this is why it's important to sit down and have a deep conversation with the person that you have a crush on, or the person that you might start dating, and talk about what is the priority of your relationship. What is the reason that you two are getting together? And it talks about this in the way of superior man, because you can't really have your lover, your girl, your wife, you can't have her be everything for you. She can't be your wife one moment, your friend the next, your business partner one time, and then a mom the second, and then a housewife later on. Like, it's too many things going on. You need friends to talk with about like your business and stuff, different problems you have, and then you need your girl to be like where you give your gift of love as a man, like you are able to open her heart and bring her back to love. That's the kind of thing, like you need to be more romantic with her and not treat her as a friend, like not just doing all these goofy activities where you're just, I don't know, just hanging out. You shouldn't ever be just hanging out with your girl. Like, this is a big problem that I used to have, is just like the getting complacent and stop going to the gym as much and just like hanging out all the time instead of just being romantic and being present with her and talking with her in a very romantic way. It just would end up talking like in a very friendly way. And in my relationship now, I've really made sure not to do that and really made sure to show her as much love as I possibly can. You really need to balance the polarity. If you start out, like I said, in the initial attraction, you're on the masculine, she's in her feminine, what you're doing is you're becoming friends. So one of you guys is going to have to sacrifice, and then you're going to end up in the middle, and that's how depolarization works. What you need to do is make sure that you're not skipping your workouts, that you're not skipping any of your self-improvement stuff. You're still doing that, because the thing a woman wants most is going to be your presence. I don't care what the red pillars tell you or the black pillars telling you that you need certain eyelid shape, that you need a certain amount of money in the bank, that say a certain phrase or whatever. None of that matters if you can't be present in the moment with her. And this is why being with her 24/7 is such a problem, is because not only do you guys become too familiar with each other, which breeds complacency, which kills the attraction, but you aren't able to be as present with her because you're too busy thinking about your goals and stuff that you used to have that you aren't really following anymore. Like, you're not in the gym as much, you know your physique's regressing, you're not like we're doing things to help your business or financial situation. You can't focus when you're with her. You can't be present and give her like the kind of love that she needs because you're too busy off in la la land just thinking about what you could be doing and all the different goals that you're sacrificing to be with her at that moment. And it's kind of scary because women have this like superpower. They can tell when you're not thinking. Every moment that you're with her, this is like as much love and presence as she needs. And this is her level that she's getting, and it goes down every single second. So you need to make sure that you're giving her that present, making eye contact, not just hearing the words she's saying, but actually listening to the words that she's saying when you're having a conversation with her, and that you're actually like giving her love. This is why you need to make sure that you're doing all the things towards your goals. So like if there's a day that you're really busy and you weren't able to finish some things and she wants to hang out, but you know that you really need to finish some of the tasks in order to achieve your goals, you have to have like the balls to just tell her like, look, I love you, don't get me wrong, but I really need to finish this. Like, this is really important. I need to get this done. And she will respect you and love you a lot more than if you were to just like cave in and just be like, okay, yeah, we can hang out. And then like the whole time you're hanging out, you're just thinking of the thing that you didn't do that you knew you were supposed to. She may say that she wants to hang out with you 24/7, but what she really wants to hang out with is the present, loving version of you. 1 minute that you spend present with her is going to be 10 times, 100 times, a million times better than spending 1 hour distracted thinking about other things while you're hanging out with her. She will feel a lot more fulfilled, a lot happier with the moments that you are present rather than the moments that you are with her, but you're still distracted. So if this is something that you struggle with, you really need to realign yourself to your purpose. If you're in a relationship and you notice that you've gotten complacent and you can't really see your abs anymore, you need to get your ass back in the gym and start working on that physique right now. Make a list of goals, make a list of 3 steps for each goal on how to achieve each goal, and then just start going and implement it today. If the physique is one of them, get your ass in the gym. If you need to work on your game, go talk to more women, go talk to the girl that you have a crush on, go talk to your wife, go talk to your girlfriend, whatever your situation is. Just do whatever you can to become the best version of yourself possible. Go meditate so you can be more present. Sit down, stare at a wall, close your eyes or something, and just think for a little while on what your purpose actually is. Because without your purpose, without knowing your purpose, you're not going to be able to perform well in life. And you're certainly not going to be able to give your woman what she wants, what she needs, and the kind of love that's going to make your relationship bloom. If you don't know where to start, my Looks Maxing course also has like things about game and stuff as well as a little bit about like mental health and stuff, so you can really become the best version of yourself possible and the most attractive version of yourself possible, so you know you can get basically any women that you want. So go ahead and check that out with the link in the description below. With that being said, remember, be better than you were yesterday.